Hey there, YouTube. Crypto Force here again, bringing you another daily dose of crypto. And today, the coin I'm going to talk about is Stellar Lumens. Now, the reason I'm talking about it, the coin's been in the top 10 here for the last couple days. It made a nice move upward about 2 days ago when a lot of the market was in the red. We saw a move of about 20% up. And the reason being, they have some really encouraging news coming out, which I'll talk about shortly. But first, I want to explain a little bit about what the coin is, what it does, and what they want to accomplish in their respective market. Just to maybe familiarize you with it if you guys have not seen this coin before or don't know anything about it. Now, what Stellar Lumens is, I'll go to their website right here, and they do have a really nice website. This thing is loaded with information, so any question you have, because I'm just going to touch on a couple of little simple things about it, but any questions you have, I'm sure it's going to be answered because, like I said, this website is loaded with information. Now, what is the purpose of Stellar Lumens? Stellar Lumens is very similar to Ripple. Now, and the reason being, in 2014, when it was actually created off the Ripple code base. Now, in mid-2015, they actually formed their own code and did a whole revamping of Stellar Lumens, so it is no longer functionally, as far as, well, with the code base and so forth, like Ripple is. It's its own entity, its own fingerprint. It's made different. Now, Lumens are the native asset of the Stellar network, and the purpose of Stellar Lumens, it was created to be a financial payment platform. And using Stellar Lumens, you can move money across borders quickly, reliably, and you can do it for almost free, for literally a fraction of a cent. And by integrating the Stellar Lumen network, anybody can have access to the open global financial network. Now, Stellar Lumens trades under the symbol XLM, and the features that really stand out with Stellar Lumens is, remittances are, they're extremely expensive, and that's sending money across borders. They take a lot of time, and going from one currency to another, that just adds that much more of a headache to it. And what Stellar Lumens allows to happen is people can send money across the borders quickly for less than a penny, and they can even do it between different currencies. So there is a huge market for this. I mean, this would have a huge market if it's adopted more from the public, and as well as other entities. Micropayments, the world's becoming more of a place where you got to have micropayments, and Stellar Lumens will accommodate that. You can do micropayments with Stellar Lumens. Mobile money and mobile branches. There's a lot of areas in the world that people don't use banks. Africa, they don't have a lot of banks. Other underdeveloped areas, there's not much in the way of banks, but a lot of them do have cell phones. So with the Stellar cryptocurrency, anybody can make mobile money operable. So it'll make it possible to send money anywhere to different providers, different currencies, anywhere around the globe. So it'll put you in contact with the bank. I don't want to say the banking world, but the currency world, to move currency. So Stellar Lumens can be used by banks, people, payment networks, businesses. It can be used by anybody. And there is a huge need for this because money transaction happens from almost every person in the world every day. And there is a huge market for this. Now, before I get into the news of the news they came out with, I'll just hit real quick these tabs. And like I said, if you go back here to how it works, it goes more in depth. I mean, it goes really into depth of what exactly Stellar Lumens is, how it works, etc. The developer page, as I said, this is open source. So, if you're a coder, you can go in, you can take a look at this code because there is 1,000+ developers that work on this code right now. And, if you're a good coder, you can come in and try your hand at it and see how you can help the team out as well. Now, the team itself is actually made up of some pretty dynamite people. There's a lot of MIT grads, there's Harvard grads, some Duke grads. There's a lot of master's degrees involved in this. There's a lot of programmers. Stanford University, and one of the interesting things is this gentleman right here, he actually created Mt. Gox, the one that got hacked with Bitcoin, and they lost think it was 800,000 bitcoins, I think, or something to that effect. But that was after he sold it talks about him selling it right here, and it was recoded. But anyways, as we come on down, here's some interesting people I want to talk about, and it's the advisors. Now, the advisors, you have Patrick Collison, who is actually the CEO of Stripe. Now, remember I said that, and he did go to, or he did study math at MIT, but remember that I said he's the CEO of Stripe. Now, Matt Mullenweg, he's the founder of WordPress. We have, this is kind of a funny name, Naval. I guess you'd say Naval Ravikant. I can't really say his name. So he's the founder of AngelList. And then we have Sam Altman, who is the president of Y Combinator. But the reason I want to talk about the CEO of Stripe here, the news that came out, Stellar jumps 20% after Stripe says it may add support for the digital coin. Now, April 23rd, Stripe is going to quit using Bitcoin because of the slow transactions and the high fees that are being used. So, you know, because of the scaling, the problem of Bitcoin scaling to meet demand, it's starting to catch up to it. And Stellar is actually going to dump it. But it's interesting, the CEO of Stripe is actually an advisor. Now he's saying, okay, we may add support for Stellar as the digital coin. My guess would be, you know, it's kind of interesting because you'd be worried about a conflict of interest thing, but, you know, who else would be better to add, you know, than add Stellar Lumens to something that he already owns in the first place. And here's what Stripe is. And I had never really heard of Stripe, to be honest with you, so I did a little research on it, and it handles payments for more than 100,000 businesses, including Warby Parker and OpenTable. But it announced that the Bitcoin transactions would stop processing on April 23rd. So that's why this company Stripe is looking into making Stellar Lumens its one of its new supported digital coins, which that could be huge for Stellar Lumens. One thing I want to say about Stellar, though, they actually have 103 billion total coin supply. That does not mean that those are open to the public. They have 18 billion circulating supply. So, you know, they are sitting on around 80 billion coins or 85 billion coins that could be released into the market. I have not looked into it enough to see if, you know, how they could be released, or, you know, what the system is in the future of how they'll be released. But I just want you to know there is 103 billion total coins and 18 billion in circulation. So that's a pretty high number of coins. Now, as you know, Ripple is, I think it's around, let me look just so I'm not making mistakes here. It's almost 40 billion coins. And, you know, Stellar Lumens is half the value right now of it. So, anyways, that could be a factor, you know, having that many coins. So it'd be interesting to see how, if they're going to burn them like Ripple does whenever transactions are done, or things of that effect. So anyhow, guys, Stellar Lumens, they seem like a pretty darn legitimate company. That, you know, like I said, nice website. There's so much information on this website. It's kind of you know, cumbersome. There's so much, actually. So anyhow, if you guys like this video, please share, subscribe, and like. And if you guys want me to talk about anything, by all means, throw it in the comment section below. And as always, guys, good luck trading, and Crypto Force signing out.